Hey, what's up? Well, I gotta get that off of my face, but toward my face. And what I want to talk about in this video, while I have a quick minute, is a number of things. Well, I should be doing an unboxing very soon, but I'm not sure how soon, you know? It could end up being, I don't know how many days, but it's very frustrating when you order something and they ship it untracked. So, while that's not a very pleasant thing to be happening, that I have an outstanding package that I don't even have a tracking number for, and it will hopefully come in very soon. Um, it does give me an opportunity to make a video about other things, or probably just another tired old subject that I've talked about before too many times. So anyway, what I want to talk about in this video, and if my hair changes very soon, I want a record of it when it was, this length, which really, I mean, if I could get a trim and leave the top of it alone. Oh, I'm going to talk about how I realized what that hairstyle is called. It's called an undercut, like I was doing on my doll named Dale. It's called an undercut. When you have hair that is too drastically different lengths because of a ponytail, and you shave around a ponytail, but usually it isn't that drastic. It's called an undercut. Okay, so I really would like to get one, but I don't know how that would work. So anyway, what I want to talk about in this video is how basically just so many things that I could talk about, but I'm just going to talk yet again about well, I've been making more songs in Suno, and I'll probably be posting those in between. But I want to talk about how all these colds that I've had, I've just been knocking myself out, asking AI about my colds, past, present, and, well, everything but future, because we can't know the future. But the thing that the bot doesn't seem to comprehend, which doesn't compute, I'm thinking of maybe, hold on, putting this camera down, because I don't think that's high enough. I think this might feel just a little bit more, yeah, that's more like it. So, the AI bot just doesn't seem to comprehend that I am different. It just doesn't seem to compute with it that I am different from everybody else in the world. And not just because we're all different in our own way, but because I am unique and special. And it's just frustrating. I mean, that's all it can really do. But to be given answers, based on just what a normal person is like, and, but I'm different. I'm not like everybody else. And so, that's what I've tried to convey. I somewhat touched on it in my Marley song about when Marley gets a cold. And really, it just ends up being kind of a funny, silly, embarrassing song about a fictional character doing something that she was never said to do in the show, I mean, the episode obviously had nothing to do with colds, and it was just purely coincidental that the globby looked like a wad of snot or something. But I was trying to, convey in a story that, here's this child who isn't like everybody else. And, I mean, a normal kid is, and it just cannot be overstated, for some random kid to get a cold at that age is just normal, I mean, and that's exactly what it would be, for someone's child at that age. Were they not me, it would just be normal, because most kids, have activities, they go to daycare, their parents, seem not to care, they're gonna get it anyway. But I wanted to read something. I think it's Veterans Day, but I probably won't post it. Veterans Day, November 11th. Why is me getting a cold and missing school on Friday, May 2nd, 1997, the most memorable thing that happened during my 7th grade year? I previously had 3 other colds in August, November, and January of that year. Why was my 4th and final cold So memorable. I also had 7 colds in 6th grade, 9 in 8th grade, 18 in high school, which is about 4.5 a year, 14 during the 5 years I attended college, and only about a dozen or so from my mid-20s to the present day, age 41. I also had COVID at 37. I had countless colds at ages 0 through 11. Exact dates unknown. Okay. The bot says, understanding the memorability of your cold in May of 97. To analyze why your cold in May of 97 stands out as the most memorable event during your 7th grade year, we can consider several psychological and contextual factors that contribute to memory formation. Contextual factors. The timing. The month of May often signifies the end of the school year, a time filled with various activities such as final exams, end of year parties, and I would add piano, and transitions to summer. This context can amplify emotional responses, especially when you're kind of in love with your male teacher, your first male teacher ever. The context can amplify emotional responses and make the events more memorable. Seasonal changes. In many regions, May represents a shift from spring to summer, which can affect mood and health. A cold during this transitional period might feel particularly disruptive, not really, compared to colds experienced in colder months. Well, no, it's not so much that it's disruptive, but that it's more remarkable. And that's what people don't understand, is the scarcity principle. You know, the more scarce something is, the more remarkable it is. You know, that's why it is just so easy for me to memorize even exact dates of all the colds I've had since turning 24, because I've never had more than one per year. Therefore, that one per year is so much more remarkable than if it was just one of 4 or one of 5 or so on. Okay. Emotional impact, associative memory. Emotions play a significant role in how memories are formed and recalled. If your cold in May was accompanied by specific events, yes, it was, such as missing an important school event or feeling particularly unwell during a time when you wanted to be active, it could create a stronger emotional association with that illness. Well, the specific events were a piano thing, where I made my one and only perfect score on Saturday, May 3rd. And also this company picnic thing that my dad's workplace would do. I didn't feel well at that on Saturday, May 3rd. So, social interactions. If this cold affected your interactions with friends and participation in school activities like sports or gathering, it may have left a lasting impression due to feelings of isolation or disappointment, or being told for the one and only time in your life to go sniff Hitler. Okay, at no other point in my life was I ever told to do something so absurd. And considering that he had been dead for exactly 52 years and 5 days on Cinco de Mayo, that was pretty ridiculous. But you have to understand the backstory, and I don't feel like going into that. Okay. Recency effect. Lasting impressions. The last occurrence of an event often has a stronger impact on memory than earlier instances due to the recency effect. That's right. Because I became obsessed near the end of the school year, and that was the only cold that I had, that close to the end of the school year, and when I was most obsessed with them. That made it more memorable. Lasting impressions. The last occurrence has a stronger impact on memory than earlier instances due to recency. Since this was your last and your 4th and last cold within that academic year, it may have been fresh in your mind compared to previous illnesses. And yes, as I continued to obsess on colds throughout the summer, feeling very angry as I became obsessed with Rugrats that summer, how there was never a Rugrats episode specifically about the common cold. That was the last cold that I had to go back to in my mind. Okay. Unique circumstances. If there were unique circumstances surrounding this particular cold, such as being diagnosed with something unexpected, not really, experiencing symptoms more severe, or having it coincide with significant life events, it could enhance its memorability. Well, the significant life event was the teachers that I had and how important they were in my life. Cumulative experience. Having had multiple colds throughout the years may also create a narrative about your health experiences. Thus, this final cold could symbolize accumulation of those experiences during a pivotal time in your life. Well, yeah, it really was a turning point. It was like the last cold that I know for sure that I brought home to my little sister and the rest of the family, as opposed to the other way around, you see. Colds from 8th grade onward, though more numerous or just as numerous, were always originating with my little sister, and in rare occasions my dad, but it usually didn't originate with me from then on out. And, so feeling terribly for the last time about giving it to my baby sister with very little immunity built up was an important thing. Okay? Reflection on health patterns, health trends over time. Your history of frequent colds suggest an underlying pattern that might have contributed to heightened awareness of your health at that time. Reflecting on why you had so many colds could lead you to remember specific instances more vividly. In summary, the combination of timing within the school year, emotional significance tied to social interactions and activities, the recency effect of from being the last cold you experienced during that period, and any unique circumstances surrounding it likely contributed to making your May 1997 cold particularly memorable compared to others. And in addition to that, it was the only school year during which there was a Friday the 13th, exactly 6 days before my 14th birthday. Okay, so there would be a Friday the 13th, exactly 6 weeks. We would be in summer by that point, but 6 weeks after I missed, Friday, May 2nd, there would be a Friday, June 13th, exactly 6 days before my birthday. And that was the only birthday during my public school years that fell on a Thursday, exactly 6 days after a Friday, June 13th. That was the only time. Just because of the way that the dates fell, because of the leap years and all that. The last time previously had been when I turned 3 years old in 86. And because of the way the leap year fell, because there was a leap year in 92 that offset it to where we went from Wednesday 91, Wednesday 91 to Friday in 92, skipping over the Thursday. And so we didn't have that Friday, June 13th in 92. Okay, and so the next time it would happen, of course, I would graduate high school before then, and I would be turning 20. So 6 years later. So it was the only Friday, May 2nd. I missed the one and only Friday, May 2nd, and I didn't know it at the time, but it later became significant in retrospect, as I studied the Gregorian calendar and learned this. Didn't understand that, but it was the only Friday, June 13th, which is right before my birthday. It was the only one that happened, in my public school days, and me getting a cold so close to the end of the year. And I've talked about this before, how the less normal something is, the less common something is, the more it stands out. Not the more you should disbelieve it or try to pretend like it didn't happen because it doesn't seem like something that should have happened. No, the more it stands out, you see. Being a girl with an exotic name like mine, having a cold in May, to me, that's a lot more remarkable than, say, being a boy named John having a cold in January, or a boy named Chris having a cold on Christmas. Girls having a cold in childhood is more remarkable than boys, simply because boys are freaking gross. And if you have multiple children, of which one or more are boys, it's not a matter of will your family have colds this winter. It's a matter of how many and in which months. Okay, you're gonna have colds this winter if one or more of your children are boys and they're going to school or whatnot, and they're little, unless they're big teenagers that are basically adults, with men's voices that have had everything when they were little. Little boys are going to get sick in the winter. And so you're comparing apples to oranges when you try to normalize this experience with the fact that your little son John or Chris or Michael, or whatever other biblical name people like to use at the time, had a cold practically every other month or every month. Like, I don't know about age 13, but when they're little, that's very common. And my sister going to kindergarten the following year, she had lots of colds like at least once a month because she was a 5-year-old with no immunity built up. And so I don't remember as much about any of the 9 colds that I had in 8th grade as I do about that 4th and final cold in 7th grade, because I became obsessed with them, number one. And there had been at least a 3-month period before then wherein I hadn't had one since January. And it would be another 3+ months before I would get one again in August for my little sister's kindergarten of the following year in 8th grade. So it was the only spring of 7th grade cold, and it was the only spring semester absence in 1997. The only absence in the whole year of 97, because I just went to school sick in the fall of 97, determined not to let her kindergarten affect my attendance any more than it unfortunately did, and that I missed one day in the spring. Okay, so, that all made it very significant, and I guess I'm really tired of talking about this cold and others like it, and so I'll go ahead and post this video.